Before praying, let us read Matthew 11:28-30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. There are moments when tiredness reaches deeper than the body and settles into the soul. It is not just physical exhaustion, but a quiet heaviness that lingers in your thoughts, your emotions, and your spirit. You may continue moving through your days, fulfilling responsibilities and meeting expectations, yet inside, something feels drained. In these moments, the simple admission, "God, I'm tired," becomes more than a statement. It becomes a prayer. It is honest, unguarded, and deeply human. And in that honesty, there is a sacred invitation waiting to be received. Jesus does not ask you to hide your weariness. He does not expect you to arrive strong, composed, or full of answers. Instead, he calls gently to those who are tired, those who feel burdened, and those who are close to giving up. His invitation is not complicated. It is not filled with conditions or requirements. It is simply to come as you are, with all your fatigue, your questions, and your quiet struggles. There is something profoundly comforting in knowing that you do not need to fix yourself before approaching him. You are already welcomed. When life becomes overwhelming, it is easy to believe that rest must be earned. You may feel that you need to complete more, prove more, or endure more before you are allowed to pause. But God's rest is not something you achieve through effort. It is something you receive through surrender. It begins when you release the pressure to carry everything alone and allow him to share the weight with you. This kind of rest does not always remove your circumstances immediately, but it changes how you carry them. It softens the burden and brings peace into places that once felt tense and heavy. There is also a gentle reminder in these words. God's heart is kind. He describes himself as gentle and humble, not distant or demanding. This means that when you come to him in your tiredness, you are not met with judgment, but with compassion. He understands the depth of your exhaustion. He sees the effort you have already given, the battles you have quietly fought, and the strength it has taken just to keep going. Nothing about your weariness is hidden from him. So today, if your heart feels heavy and your strength feels low, allow yourself to respond to this invitation. You do not need to have perfect faith or perfect words. Simply come. Sit in his presence, even if only for a moment. Let your tiredness be seen. Let your burdens be acknowledged. And trust that in this gentle exchange, something within you can begin to rest again. There are days when even the smallest effort feels like too much. You wake up already tired, carrying a weight you cannot fully explain. It is not always visible to others, and sometimes you struggle to put it into words yourself. This kind of exhaustion reaches beyond the body and settles deep within your spirit. In these moments, continuing forward can feel overwhelming, and the desire to simply stop becomes strong. Yet even here, in this quiet breaking point, God is not distant. He is near, patiently waiting for you to rest in him. Resting in God does not mean that everything around you suddenly becomes easy. It does not mean that your responsibilities disappear or that your struggles are instantly resolved. Instead, it is a gentle shift within your heart. It is the decision to stop striving for a moment and to lean into his presence. When you have nothing left to give, you are invited to receive. This is the beauty of God's grace. It meets you not when you are strong, but when you are empty. Sometimes we resist rest because we feel that we have not done enough to deserve it. We measure our worth by our productivity, our strength, or our ability to keep going. But God does not measure you this way. He sees your heart. He sees how much you have already endured, how much you have already carried, and how deeply you long for peace. You do not need to earn his rest. It is already offered to you, freely and fully. In your tiredness, you may also feel a sense of guilt for slowing down. You may wonder if you are falling behind or failing in some way. But rest is not failure. It is necessary. Even in creation, God established rhythms of work and rest, not because he needed rest, but because we do. When you allow yourself to pause, to breathe, and to be still, you are not giving up. You are allowing yourself to be restored. God's presence in your rest is gentle and unforced. He does not rush you. He does not demand that you recover quickly. Instead, He sits with you in your weariness, offering quiet comfort and steady peace. In that stillness, something begins to change. Your thoughts may slow, your breathing may deepen, and your heart, even if only slightly, may begin to feel lighter. You do not need to have a perfect plan for what comes next. You do not need to gather strength all at once. For now, it is enough to rest. It is enough to acknowledge your need and to trust that God is meeting you in it. Strength will come again, not all at once, but little by little. And when it does, it will not be because you forced it, but because you allowed yourself to receive what only God can give. So today, if you feel like you have nothing left, do not be afraid of that emptiness. It is not the end. It is a space where God's strength can begin to fill you again. Stay there for a moment. Breathe, rest, and know that you are held. There are moments when words feel distant, when even prayer seems like too much effort. Your heart may be so tired that forming sentences feels heavy, and your thoughts may drift without direction. In these quiet and fragile spaces, it is easy to feel disconnected, even from God. But prayer is not about having perfect words or complete thoughts. It is about presence. It is about turning, even slightly, toward the one who already understands what you cannot express. When your strength feels gone, your prayer can be simple, gentle, and real. Let us begin softly. Lord, I am tired, not just in my body, but deep within my heart. You see what I carry, even the things I cannot explain. You know the thoughts that keep returning, the worries that do not easily leave, and the quiet exhaustion that follows me through each day. I do not come to you with strength today. I come as I am weak, uncertain, and in need of rest. Father, when I feel like I cannot continue, remind me that I do not have to do this alone. Help me to release what I have been holding too tightly. Teach me how to rest in your presence without fear, without pressure, and without the need to understand everything. Calm the noise within me. Replace my anxious thoughts with your peace, and let your presence become a place where my heart can finally be still. I declare, even in this weakness, that you are still my strength. Even when I feel empty, you are still able to fill me. Even when I feel lost, you are still guiding me. I may not see the way forward clearly, but I trust that you are leading me one step at a time. I choose to believe that this season will not last forever, and that you are working quietly, even now. Lord, renew me gently, not all at once, but in the way you know I need. Restore my spirit little by little. Give me the courage to keep going, even if my steps are small. And when I feel like I have nothing left, remind me that your grace is enough for today. Thank you for hearing me, even when my voice is soft. Thank you for staying, even when I feel distant. Thank you for loving me through every moment of this journey. Amen. There are times when your soul feels stretched thin, as if you have been giving and giving without ever truly being filled again. You may continue showing up for life, meeting responsibilities, caring for others, and trying to stay strong, yet inside there is a quiet emptiness. This kind of weariness is not always obvious, but it is deeply real. It is the kind that does not disappear with a single night of rest. It lingers, asking for something deeper, something only God can provide. Renewal does not always come in sudden, powerful moments. Often, it arrives gently, almost unnoticed at first. It may begin as a small sense of peace in the middle of a difficult day. It may appear as a moment where your thoughts slow down, or where your breathing becomes steady again. These small shifts are not insignificant. They are the beginnings of restoration. God does not always rush the process of renewal because true healing takes time. He works patiently, restoring your heart layer by layer. When you feel depleted, it is easy to believe that you have nothing left to give. You may begin to doubt your ability to continue, or question whether you will ever feel whole again. But God's renewal does not depend on what you have left. It flows from his endless supply. You are not expected to refill yourself. You are invited to receive. This changes everything. It means that even in your emptiness, there is still hope, because the source of your strength is not within you alone. There is also a quiet invitation in this season to slow down, not as a form of giving up, but as a way of allowing space for God to work within you. When life feels overwhelming, the instinct is often to push harder, to try to fix everything quickly. But sometimes what you truly need is to pause, to sit in stillness, to allow your heart to breathe. In that stillness, God begins to gently renew what has been worn down. You may not feel instantly different. You may still carry questions, and the weight may not lift all at once. That is okay. Renewal is not always immediate, but it is faithful. Each moment you spend in God's presence, each quiet prayer, and each decision to not give up becomes part of the healing process. Even when you do not feel it, something within you is being restored. So, if your soul feels tired today, do not be discouraged. You are not beyond renewal. You are in the very place where renewal can begin. Let yourself rest, even if just for a moment. Let yourself receive, even if it feels unfamiliar. And trust that God is already at work, gently renewing your strength in ways that will sustain you in the days ahead. God's strength meets you in your weakest place. There is a sacred truth that often feels difficult to accept. God's strength is not reserved for your best moments, but for your weakest ones. When you feel exhausted, when your heart feels heavy, and when your strength seems completely gone, that is not the moment God turns away. It is the very moment He draws closer. Yet, because weakness feels uncomfortable, we sometimes try to hide it, even from God. We try to appear stronger than we are, hoping to regain control. But in doing so, we miss the gentle exchange He offers our weakness for His strength. It can be hard to admit that you are tired. There is often an inner voice that tells you to keep going, to push harder, to not slow down. You may feel that stopping means failure, or that needing help means you are not strong enough. But God's perspective is different. He does not measure your worth by how much you can endure alone. Instead, He invites you to bring your limits to Him. Your exhaustion does not disappoint Him. It opens the door for Him to sustain you in a way that you cannot sustain yourself. In your weakest place, something honest begins to surface. You become more aware of your need not just for rest, but for God's presence. This awareness is not something to resist. It is something to embrace. Because when you acknowledge your need, you create space for God to meet you there. His strength does not force its way into your life. It fills the places you surrender to Him. God's strength often feels different from what we expect. It is not always a sudden surge of energy or a dramatic change in your situation. More often, it comes as quiet endurance. It is the ability to take one more step when you thought you could not. It is the calm that settles in your heart, in the middle of uncertainty. It is the gentle reassurance that you are not alone, even when everything feels heavy. These are not small things. They are evidence that God is actively sustaining you. There may still be moments when you feel like you are not strong enough. That feeling may come and go, especially in difficult seasons. But your feelings do not define the truth. The truth is that God's strength is already available to you. You do not have to earn it, and you do not have to reach a certain point before receiving it. It is given freely out of His love for you. So instead of asking yourself how much longer you can hold on, consider a different question. What would it look like to let God hold you? What would it mean to stop carrying everything on your own and to trust that He is capable of sustaining you? This shift does not happen all at once, but even a small step in that direction can bring peace. Today, if you feel weak, do not turn away from that feeling. Bring it honestly before God. Let it become a quiet prayer. Lord, this is where I am. And in that simple truth, allow Him to meet you, to strengthen you, and to gently remind you that you were never meant to carry everything alone. There is a kind of strength that does not arrive all at once. It does not come like a sudden burst of energy or a dramatic change in your situation. Instead, it grows quietly within you, often unnoticed at first. When you are tired, you may expect strength to feel powerful and immediate. But God's way is often gentler. He builds strength slowly, in ways that take root deep inside your heart, where it can last. You may not always recognize this strength as it is forming. It can look like something very simple. It may be the ability to get through a day that once felt impossible. It may be the decision to keep going, even when your motivation is low. It may be choosing to pray, even when your words feel weak. These small moments matter more than they seem. They are signs that something within you is being sustained. When you ask God to renew your strength, the answer may not always come in the form you expect. Instead of removing every burden, He may give you the ability to carry it differently. Instead of changing everything around you, He may begin changing something within you. This kind of renewal is not always easy to see, but it is deeply real. Over time, you may begin to notice that you are not as overwhelmed as before, or that your heart feels a little more steady. There is also comfort in knowing that this strength does not depend on your perfection. You do not have to feel confident all the time. You do not have to be free from doubt or fear. God's strength is present even in your uncertainty. It meets you exactly where you are, not where you think you should be. This means that even on your hardest days, when everything feels heavy, you are still being supported. Sometimes, we overlook the quiet ways God is working because we are waiting for something bigger. We wait for a clear breakthrough, a complete change, or a moment where everything finally feels right again. But in the waiting, something meaningful is happening. You are learning to endure, you are learning to trust, and you are becoming stronger in ways that are not always visible, but deeply important. It is also important to be patient with this process. Growth takes time, renewal takes time, and strength, especially the kind that lasts, is not rushed. God is not in a hurry with you. He understands your pace, your struggles, and your needs. He is not asking you to become strong overnight. He is simply asking you to stay, to trust, and to allow Him to continue His work within you. So if today you still feel tired, do not assume that nothing is changing. Even now, strength may be growing in ways you cannot yet see. Every moment you choose to keep going, every quiet prayer, and every small step forward is part of that growth. You are not stuck. You are being formed. And as this quiet strength continues to grow, you may one day look back and realize that you made it through a season you once thought would break you. Not because you were strong on your own, but because God was strengthening you, gently and faithfully, every step of the way. Learning to breathe again in God's presence. There are moments when life feels so overwhelming that even breathing seems heavy. Your thoughts may be crowded, your heart may feel tight, and your spirit may struggle to find calm. In these moments, it is not just strength that you need, it is space. Space to pause, to breathe, and to remember that you are not alone in what you are feeling. God's presence offers that space, a quiet refuge where your soul can begin to settle again. Sometimes, we move through life so quickly that we forget how to be still. We carry responsibilities, expectations, and worries without allowing ourselves time to rest. Over time, this constant movement creates a deep kind of fatigue, not just physical, but emotional and spiritual. And when that fatigue builds, it can feel like there is no way to slow down. But God gently invites you to do something different. He invites you to pause, even briefly, and to breathe in His presence. Breathing may seem like a small thing, something automatic and unnoticed. But when you bring awareness to it, it becomes something more. It becomes a way of grounding yourself, a way of returning to the present moment. And when you pair that simple act with the awareness of God's presence, it becomes a quiet form of prayer. Each breath can be a reminder that you are still here, still held, and still cared for. Inhale slowly, and remember that God is near. Exhale gently and release what you have been holding. You do not need to carry everything at once. You do not need to solve everything right now. In this moment, it is enough to breathe and to be. God is not rushing you. He is not demanding that you fix everything immediately. He is simply inviting you to rest in His presence, one breath at a time. As you begin to slow down, you may notice that your thoughts become less overwhelming. The noise may not disappear completely, but it softens. Your heart may begin to feel a little lighter, even if only slightly. These small changes matter. They are signs that your soul is beginning to find rest again, and in that rest, strength can slowly return. It is important to remember that you are allowed to take these moments. You are allowed to pause without guilt. Rest is not a sign of weakness, it is a necessary part of healing. When you allow yourself to breathe and to be still, you are creating space for God to restore what has been worn down. You are giving your heart the opportunity to recover, even in the middle of a difficult season. God's presence is not something distant that you have to search for. It is near, closer than you realize. Even now, as you read these words, He is with you. He sees your weariness, your effort, and your quiet longing for peace. And He responds not with pressure, but with gentleness. He meets you in your need, offering calm where there has been tension and rest where there has been strain. So today, if everything feels like too much, begin with something simple. Take a slow breath. Let it be a reminder that you are still here, still supported, and still loved. You do not have to move quickly. You do not have to have everything figured out. Just breathe and let God meet you in that quiet space. Held together when you feel like falling apart. There are moments when everything inside you feels like it is unraveling. Your thoughts may feel scattered, your emotions overwhelming, and your strength almost gone. It can feel as though you are barely holding yourself together, as if one more burden might be too much to carry. In these fragile moments, the fear of falling apart becomes very real. Yet, even here, in this delicate and uncertain place, there is a truth that remains steady. You are being held together, even when you do not feel it. Sometimes, we believe that it is our own strength that keeps us from breaking. We try to stay in control, to manage every feeling, and to keep everything from slipping away. But there comes a point when our own efforts are no longer enough. And while that realization can feel frightening, it can also become a turning point. Because when you reach the end of your own strength, you begin to discover that you are not held together by yourself alone. God is already there, sustaining you in ways you may not fully see. Being held by God does not always feel dramatic or obvious. It often happens quietly. It is the reason you are still here, even after everything you have faced. It is the quiet strength that allows you to keep going, even when you thought you could not. It is the unseen support that steadies you when your emotions feel unsteady. You may feel like you are falling apart, but in reality, you are being gently held in place. There is also comfort in knowing that God is not overwhelmed by your emotions. You do not have to hide your struggles or pretend to be okay. He can hold your sadness, your fear, your confusion, and your exhaustion all at once. Nothing about your situation is too much for Him. In fact, the very things you feel might break you are the places where His presence can meet you most deeply. When everything feels uncertain, it can help to return to something simple. Remind yourself that you do not need to hold everything together on your own. You do not need to have every answer or every solution. For now, it is enough to be held. It is enough to trust, even if only a little, that God is supporting you in ways you cannot fully understand. You may not feel strong right now, and that is okay. Strength does not always look like confidence or control. Sometimes it looks like surviving the moment. Sometimes it looks like allowing yourself to feel without giving up. And sometimes it looks like quietly trusting that even though you feel like you are falling apart, you are not beyond care. God's presence is steady, even when your emotions are not. He does not move away when things become difficult. He remains constant and patient, offering you a place of safety in the middle of your struggle. And as you continue through this season, even slowly, even imperfectly, you may begin to realize that you are stronger than you thought, not because you held everything together, but because you were held through it all. So if today feels overwhelming, let yourself rest in this truth. You are not falling apart beyond repair. You are being held together with care, with patience, and with love that does not let go. You are closer to renewal than you think. There are times when the journey feels so long that you begin to believe nothing is changing. You may look at your life and still see the same struggles, the same tiredness, and the same unanswered questions. It can feel discouraging, as if all your effort has led nowhere. But what you cannot always see is how much has already shifted within you. Growth does not always appear outwardly at first. Often, it begins quietly, beneath the surface, where God is working in ways that take time to reveal. You may feel like you are still in the same place, but you are not the same person you were before. You have endured days that once felt impossible. You have carried burdens that tested your strength, and even in moments when you felt like giving up, you did not fully let go. That matters more than you realize. Each time you chose to keep going, even in a small way, something within you was being strengthened. Renewal is not always a sudden transformation. It is often a gradual process, one that unfolds step by step. There may not be a single moment where everything feels completely different. Instead, there are small changes, a little more patience, a little more peace, a little more ability to handle what once overwhelmed you. These are signs that something is happening, even if it does not yet feel complete. It is also important to remember that God's timing is different from your own. You may want immediate relief, quick answers, and clear direction. But God sees the full picture. He knows what needs to be restored, what needs to be healed, and what needs time to grow. His work is not rushed because it is meant to last. Even when you feel stuck, He is still moving, still shaping, and still preparing something ahead of you. There is a quiet encouragement in realizing that you are not as far from renewal as you think. Even now, in your tiredness, you are closer than you were yesterday. Every moment you have stayed, every prayer you have whispered, and every step you have taken has brought you forward. You may not feel it yet, but you are moving in the right direction. Sometimes, the final stages of a difficult season feel the heaviest. It can feel like you have reached your limit, like you cannot go any further. But often, it is right before renewal becomes visible that the struggle feels most intense. This does not mean you are failing. It means you are near a shift, near a change, near something new that is about to unfold. So if today feels like too much, remind yourself gently, you are closer than you think. You are not starting over, you are continuing forward. And even if your steps feel small, they are still leading you toward healing, towards strength, and toward a renewed sense of hope. Hold on just a little longer, not with pressure, not with fear, but with quiet trust, because God has not brought you this far to leave you here. He is still working, still restoring, and still guiding you toward a place where your strength will be renewed. When your heart feels weary and your spirit feels low, remember that you have not come this far on your own. Through every tired moment, every silent prayer, and every step you thought you could not take, God has been with you. Even now, in this moment, He is near. Your exhaustion does not push Him away. It draws Him closer with compassion and care. Let this be your gentle prayer. Lord, I am tired, and you see it all. You know the weight I carry and the places where I feel weak. I come to you just as I am, without strength, without answers, but with a heart that still longs for you. Please renew me. Fill the empty places within me with your peace. Strengthen me where I feel fragile, and steady me where I feel unsure. Help me to trust that this season will not last forever. Remind me that you are still working, even when I cannot see it. Give me the grace to take one more step, to breathe one more breath, and to hold on with quiet faith. Today, I choose not to give up. I place my hope in you, knowing that you are my source of strength. If this prayer has touched your heart, carry it with you today. Let it remind you that you are not alone, and that renewal is already beginning within you. Amen.